When I lived overseas in Kosovo, for the first time I was face to face with the idea of not having convenience food that I had grown up with in college and in my childhood. And I had to learn how to cook from scratch in some ways. And it was frustrating at first, but then I really started to enjoy it. And when I came back to the States, I started having major tummy issues and digestive issues. And I put two and two together and I realized that a lot of it was because the food there was so much cleaner. We didn't have the pesticides and the other things, the additives. And I started doing some research and, I remembered this neon sign that I saw in Greece one time with Kyle that said slow food in the window. And we joked about it like, they don't really know what that means, bad English kind of thing, until I realized, oh, that's a real thing. I discovered later on. And it's a movement that was created in Europe that basically celebrates food from the ground to the table and being a part of every step, or as many steps as you can. And I started really finding a fascination with that, to where, fast forward over a decade now with our family, we really try and make a priority of eating seasonally and eating from scratch. And it in many ways is slow food because it takes longer to cook from scratch. And in many ways, the eating seasonal thing means, slowing down, because you can't just eat whatever you want all the time. You eat according to what's available, what naturally makes sense with the season you're in. But it's a priority to us because we feel like we're more connected with the natural rhythms of nature that God created. That you're eating fresh fruit in the summer, you're eating heartier soups in the fall and the winter, and they're made from things that naturally grow at that time. And so you're more connected with sort of how life is supposed to be, the natural rhythm that we all experience, but we move so fast that we forget to really slow down and listen unless we take the time to make it that way. We kind of joke that it's a good and bad thing that our kids love to cook with us, because it makes more of a mess when they cook. It's way slower, and it just makes the kitchen crowded and sometimes chaotic. But when I step back and think about it, I really am glad that our kids love cooking so much, and that they see that as a valid form of entertainment, something to do that's fun. Because we're teaching them life skills. We're teaching them how to cook. When I left my house to go to college, I hardly knew anything besides using a can opener and the microwave, and so I love the idea of our kids knowing from an early age how to make basic things, not anything fancy, but just basic sauces, basic salads, soups, so that when they leave, they are somewhat competent in that department. And plus, there's something just special about making the meal together that we're about to eat. When my daughter comes along and helps create the salad, and then she sits down and gets a handful of it at the table, I think she better understands the process of where the food came from. It's not from a bag at the store, It comes from, our own hands and the farmer's hands. And especially if she's there when we buy it, it means even more. And so to us, it's a small price to pay, the mess in the kitchen, the extra time, for them to really appreciate our food.